If you're looking at correcting your D6 homework, remember when you've picked your 2 points that once you are finding that slope, that's your unit rate, slope or your movement, M, is always equal to rise over run. And if it helps you to write those 2 words, and keep your answer as a fraction as you are doing those. When you do the second questions on that second part of your assignment, where you are asked to use the formula, make sure if you did not write the formula that you start by writing y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And again, going back and above the points, putting x1 and y1. This is my x2 and my y2. And it makes no difference if it is integers or fractions or decimals. Notice you have the same denominator in number 9. So when you take and you subtract y2 minus y1, you are going to be looking at 4/7 minus 3/7, which equals 1/7. Keep in mind this big line means division. So then you have your x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is, since we put 4/7 first, we must put the 1/5 minus 2/5. Oh, that leaves me with a negative 1/5. So this problem, that's an ugly slope. We don't want to leave our answer that way. We are going to take 1/7 and divide it by a negative 1/5. Remember division of fractions. We keep the first one, 1/7, and we change it to multiplying by the reciprocal, negative 5/7, as you are looking at that. So make sure you're finishing those problems, 13 and 14 on that next page. If you forgot those ones, make sure you're finding the slope of each segment from A to B, B to C, if they're the same or different. As you look at D7 in your notes, we're asked to write down what do we know about slope. So we're looking at the definition, the formula, and the description. So as you are looking, you're on page 24 in your notes. I can find the slope. So of a line, remember that's going to be counting the rise over the run. I can show that the line has a constant slope using similar triangles. I can interpret unit rate and slope as being the same thing. So in a graph equation, we're going to be able to look at all those different things. So reviewing our definition of slope, our definition that you want to make sure you write down. The definition is that we are looking at a measure of steepness, okay? So anytime we're talking about slope, it's the measure of steepness of something. Usually in our case, it's going to be a line, okay? But it could be steps. It could be the slant of a hill. And the other part of that is that it is going to be our unit rate in a proportional relationship. Now, this is only in a proportional relationship that starts at, if we are thinking about that, starts at 0, 0. So only in a proportional, sorry about that printing or that writing, relationship. The other thing that we are looking at is what is our formula. So I will often ask you to write this to show me. The formula is going to be M, or my slope, equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And usually it's when you look at your ordered pair x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2. Always remembering change in y over change in x, same as we did for our unit rate. And then if we are talking about a description, when we talk about that description, what are we talking about? We're talking about the steepness. Now, along with that steepness, what you might want to be thinking is it is the words rise over run. It is the change in y divided by the change in x. And then draw the face, because if it's a positive slope, it goes up. If it's negative slope, it goes down. If it is a 0 slope, that is our mouth, it's horizontal. And if it is undefined, that is our nose for being undefined. So if that helps you. So there's very few notes today. We're just asked to find the slope of each of these. And what I would like you to do is just pause the video and try it on your own. Try and find the slope of each of those, and then we will go through those. So pause it first, and then we'll look at them. So you're going to notice as you pause the video, if you need to, that I put down -3 and +5, and then we're looking at simplifying those. So if we are simplifying that first one, the slope is going to be a -3/5. Here we want up 4 and over 2. We might have started with 4 over 2, but then what we want to look at for that slope is it is just going to be a +2 when we look at that answer. Okay? As we are looking at this next one, notice I went down, and I always start from the point farthest to the right and go to the point so farthest to the left and go to the right, excuse me. So I went down 1 and over 7 to the right. That is going to be a -1/7. And if you're not sure about the sign, think about that face. So both of these first two went down, which meant when we went down that we were looking at those going, as you looked at those, to the negative slope. And then this last one, as we are taking a look, up 4 and over 6. So if you're looking at 4 over 6, 4 divided by 6 simplifies to 2/3. And again, thinking about that line or thinking about the face, if you need to look at those. So your homework is in your workbook. As you take a look, it is only the one page that you are going to be looking at. So make sure you take a look at this. And then we are going to have a Desmos activity that we are doing, and the code will be on the daily planner. Thanks.